More breaking news out of the NBA, where the Pelicans have locked up Zion Williamson to a rookie max extension. This comes per multiple reports. It's a 5-year deal worth $193 million. That contract can reach a max value of $231 million with incentives. Williamson has been limited to just 85 games throughout the first 3 seasons of his NBA career. He missed all of last season after fracturing his right foot. Despite the injuries, when available, Williamson has been dominant, averaging just under 26 points and 7 rebounds per game throughout his first 2 seasons. And for more, we welcome in a man who's good in any city, but especially down in the Big Easy, the Coach Avery Johnson joining us on the phone. Coach, we thank you for taking the time here to react to some news that was floated a day ago, but now reported here on Saturday. Zion Williamson coming to an agreement with that rookie max extension with the franchise. Let's ask the real question here. Did New Orleans have any other option than this?
They didn't have any other options, Joe, in this situation. When you draft a player number 1 in the draft, and he's the number 1 overall pick, and even though he struggled with some injuries, and especially missing all of last season, there's nowhere else to go. And in this situation, even though Zion missed last year, he still had all the leverage because this was a guy that was reportedly wanting to find his way to New York to play for the Knicks. But now, small market teams, especially after, their very impressive performance in the playoffs without him and in developing an emerging roster, especially by a young guy that I know extremely a lot about, Herb Jones, who overachieved this year in his first year in the NBA. So, and they traded for C.J. McCollum. So if I'm Zion Williamson, I'm looking around and saying, hey, I can go to the Knicks, but I got a much better situation in New Orleans. They offered him the max contract. Smart thing he did was signed it, or he'll sign it as soon as he's able to sign it.
The moratorium is officially lifted on July 6th. That's when all these deals will go from reported to official, and it's being reported that Zion Williamson has come to an agreement with the New Orleans Pelicans to lock him up for the foreseeable future here, Coach. And we're looking at 5 years, and an interesting situation here because you have a young talent, all-world type talent that we don't necessarily know what he is yet at the NBA level. We've seen glimpses of it, but extended sample size, it's not often that you got about a season's worth of games under your belt, heading into a second contract, heading into year 4. So still plenty of question marks out in front of Zion, Coach. In your eyes, ceiling to floor, what does Zion look like over the next 5 years? Best case scenario, worst case scenario?
Well, if Zion Williamson is healthy, this is a guy that, who averages close to 27 points. And guess what? 20 points he scores in the paint. That's unheard of. When a guy can dominate the paint, he's not really an outside shooter, but he still understands how to matriculate on the floor within the strengths and weaknesses of his game, and he doesn't apologize for it. Once he gets his weight under control and get in better physical shape, he's had a couple of injuries, but I think there's nothing but a bright future for this young man. He plays the right way. He's playing for a franchise that needs some good news, that historically has been a morbid franchise when it comes to basketball. But now they got bright spots. Willie Green is an emerging young coach. So this is a small market team. So I give Zion a lot of credit that he could have gone anywhere, but he chose to stay in New Orleans. We've seen guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Tim Duncan with the Spurs make it work in small market teams, and that's what Zion Williamson has chosen to do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out over the next 5 seasons. And you mentioned it a bit ago, Coach, the supporting cast around Zion. I'm putting you in the big chair right now. How do you build this team around this young man, knowing he is the franchise player now?
Brandon Ingram and C.J. McCollum are outstanding supporting players. And, Brandon Ingram, most improved player of the year a season ago. C.J. came over from Portland. So you talk about, guys that can put the ball in the basket in a variety of ways. And then combine that with defensive specialists like Herb Jones, who, emerging in terms of his offensive game. That's something that you can build on. And because of those building blocks, New Orleans, I believe, if they can stay healthy in a tough Western conference will have a bright future.
Yeah, they found themselves contending at the bottom end of the conference not too long ago. And with Zion back in the fold, playoffs will be the expectation. And we always expect something great when the coach is always one call away. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, taking a look at those missed games, and some of that injury history does date even further back than his NBA career. Remember his time at Duke, the blown out shoe, and all of the calamity that ensued. The fractured foot cost him a season last year. It was a finger for 6 games in 2021. He also dealt with a thumb, a toe, and COVID protocols throughout that 2020-2021 season. And then in his rookie year, it was a torn meniscus to start things off, missing more than half the season and a couple games missed here and there with rest and soreness. But Zion, long-term in NOLA.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.